Hey, how's it going? Um, I kind of had something I wanted to talk about, um, which is, I suppose, a little bit of a change compared to, my usual videos where it's just me rambling for 20 minutes. Um, I am going to be leaving the state for reasons, and yeah, I don't know. God, I don't really know how to go into this. So, I have a little brother um, who's going to be graduating soon. And I'm going to be going out to Oklahoma, where he's at, to, see him graduate. I realize the color on the screen is kind of distracting. 1 second. Um, but yeah, um, I'm going to be going out to Oklahoma to, support him and, just kind of hang out with him and, the rest of my, half brother and sister, um, just the kids. There's a little bit of an interesting caveat to that whole situation, though. I'm not the biggest fan of um, uh, their father, my um, sperm donor. Yeah, we'll we'll say it like that. I don't necessarily have a fear of him ever watching these because nobody does. Though I find out my mom watches these. Thanks. um, but yeah, I don't know. Um, the whole the whole situation has got me a little stressed. Uh, trying to figure out how I'm going to remain cordial through the whole thing, because we have a history. Him and my mother have a history. Him and my sister have a history, and none of it's really good at all. He's like the definition of a bad person. He's kind of the exact person that I have modeled my life not to be. I've basically told myself that for a long time. Um, to kind of give an example of what I'm kind of talking about, and it's kind of relating back to the original what's going on. um, Forever ago, when I graduated from high school, I essentially gave him one last opportunity to be an involved father, just in my life at all, by showing up to my graduation. It wasn't much, but it was my high school graduation. I busted my butt to get to the point where I was. I was a solid, I don't know, C student maybe. I don't even remember. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I think I did a little better than I give myself credit for. But essentially, I gave him the one opportunity. I'd given him plenty of opportunities in the past. I tried visiting him and everything like that. But I decided if he's willing to make it, like, make the effort to actually, come out, you know, put plans aside and everything like that or whatever, to come out and actually, support me in my graduation, then yeah, sure. I would let him be involved in my life. And this was back in 2015, I think, right? That's when I graduated, I think. Yeah. Um, yeah, this was back in 2015. Uh, it's, it's been a while since then, and I have barely spoken to him. I tried to do everything I could to cut him out of my life and everybody else involved with that side of the family, anybody in that state. Um, if you're somebody that I do know from there that, I used to get along with, I'm sorry, but I don't want him knowing any little facet about my life because he hasn't earned the right. So I, I heard about, my little brother's graduation, and a little part of me thought maniacally in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna show up my, my douchebag dad, trying to say, oh, I mean, you didn't come to mine, and I know what that feels like to, expect something of somebody, something as simple as that. Your big day, you've been working for 8 years, something like that, 11, 12 years of just schooling. Yeah, 12 years of schooling to like get to this point where your choice kind of branches from, do I want to get a job like immediately, or am I going to go to college or whatever? And it's a big day in my opinion. You know, like high school graduation only really comes once. So I thought it was kind of a big thing. I'd go out and I'd see him, and we'd kind of catch up and figure out, like what he wants to do and what his, aspirations are, if he has any goals, like, outside of the state or anything like that, or whatever. If there's anything I can do to help him, not like I'm financially, um, solid at the moment, but I mean, hey, I people fall on hard times, and I just happen to be in the hard times at the moment. It doesn't mean things aren't going to get better, and I'm not going to be able to help him out later. You know, I mean, shit. If he really needs a place to stay, he's always got a place here. So, granted, it's small, and he has to like cats, or at least be able to tolerate cats. Um, and yeah, he'd probably have to sleep on the couch. But hey, my point is, if he's ever desperate for a place, he's always got a place here. You know, I'll buy a blow up mattress for him or whatever. Doesn't matter. Point is, I still see him as family. His dad, however, I completely disowned. I haven't had a male father figure in my life pretty much at all. The closest thing to a male figure that I've had in my life in the past, I guess ever really, has come recently in the form of a mentor of mine, and even then, I'm still getting used to it, just having him as a, I guess, asset. I'd like to kind of counsel with and talk with about things that I wouldn't usually bring up to, say, Lily or whatever. I don't know. It's it's an odd thing, but I'm still getting used to it. The point, there's no point. No, I don't know. I'm no longer really going out there to piss him off, though that is a little bit of a sweet, I guess, addition to it. I'm not upset at the idea that it might upset him, but I am mostly just going out there for my little brother. Um, he's actually started to see a lot of the bullshit my uh, you know he's done. He's a compulsive liar, unfortunately, um, and we all know someone like that, unfortunately. like, they kind of just exist. There's not really a whole lot you can do about them. But unfortunately, I have to be related to him. And it's kind of, I don't want to say it's necessarily ruined my life, but it hasn't exactly, made things better. If anything, it's helped reinforce the idea of I don't want to become him. I want to grow to be anything other than what he is. Um, if anything, this experience will give me that little bit of reminder of what he truly is. He's an aphid. I'm kidding. No, I don't know. I was gonna say if anybody else's, family like that they refuse to acknowledge as family, go ahead and tell me about it. If you feel comfortable, uh, pop it in the comments or whatever. It's always an interesting thing, and a lot of the case, like people usually think, that they're the only one that has to deal with it. Unfortunately, um, sorry, my cats are fighting. Unfortunately, it's a fact of life. Some people grow up with one parent, some people grow up with both parents, some people grow up with none. I mean, shit. One of my friends basically grew up with neither of his parents involved in his life. Well, one parent involved in his life, but she kind of hated everything about him because she reminded him of the other guy that, his dad, basically. So, yeah, not my story to tell, so that's literally all I'm going to go into. Um, but he's fortunately fallen on better times. I personally think. He might disagree. He might see this too, so if you're watching, you know who you are. um, but I get it. It sucks having to grow up without both parents involved. I mean, there's some people who are as lucky as Lily, who have two sets of families, where her mother remarried and her father remarried, and granted they might not be able to stand each other too much, but she can at least go to any of her four parents and they will welcome her with open arms. Not a lot of people can say that, and that's insanely impressive to me. I wish in some cases I could have been that lucky, but at the same time, I'm happy with what I have. I wouldn't go back and change anything because, everything that's happened in my life has made me into the person I am. Granted, I could do with a little less mental illness, but hey, gotta break a few eggs, I guess. Who knows? Maybe my mental illness or whatever is the catalyst for my absolutely charming personality. Can you guys stop fighting, please? They're like chasing each other around and doing whatever. Sorry. I love them to death, but they're antsy right now. I don't know. I didn't get the opportunity to go outside today, so they didn't get a whole lot of free time to, get this out. Usually I think it's when they get their energy out. Sorry. Anyway. But yeah. I'm essentially having my trip this weekend. In terms of like uploading, I'm gonna do what I can to try to make videos when I'm out there, or at least on the road or whatever. Because I have two flights to. I have a flight to get to Arizona and then one to get out to Oklahoma and then back the same way, essentially. So we'll figure out how that's gonna go. That's not the worst thing in the world. I I'm both excited for it because I want to see my little brother. You know, it's nice to know that I have some younger siblings that aren't like, I don't know. It's like surprise siblings where you didn't have to like grow up with them, but at the same time, like, you know that they're there, and eventually you might meet up later in life and find out that you guys actually, like each other, uh, enjoy each other's company or whatever. Because I'm actually finding out that I enjoy talking to my little brother. Um, but, I technically have two of them. And, actually, I have two little brothers and two younger sisters. So, geez, perks of being the oldest. But, that's another thing, is, um, one of the things my sperm donor, I guess, has kind of gone on about is how he kind of regrets not raising me or not being involved as a parent. And that kind of goes back to the whole, like, I gave him an opportunity. I gave him plenty of opportunities, and he squandered them. He came up with bullshit lies that I know for a fact were lies because I was able to check Facebook. Either he didn't think I had that, or whatever, he just thought, like, I'm just going to lie to my kid and, you know, I don't know. I don't know what he was expecting from that, but he doesn't think. Unfortunately, that's an issue with a lot of people. They don't think about things. They don't think about the consequences of their actions. They don't think about things. And that can be an issue for a lot of reasons. Because the people who actually, take the time out of their day to, think and like plan things out and do stuff, it can usually screw those kinds of people up. And a lot of the times make things a lot worse for everybody around you. I don't know. From what I've been told, is a lot of the people that actually meet, you know, him, uh, don't typically like him, or they see that they can basically understand why people don't like him, because he's a special case, and I don't mean that in like a mentally challenged kind of way. Like, he's an a-hole in the highest regard. Um, that's probably the best way I can put it, without going into extreme detail, because I don't want to, I understand, this isn't really the best way to say that I'm moving on, but, I'm trying. I'm trying to grow past the whole situation, but for way too long, this has been kind of the only thing that has been stewing in my brain, is how much I dislike this hump of a human being. So, I don't know. I kind of sympathize with what my mom says, in the sense of, she was basically telling me about how she doesn't hate anybody, but she dislikes like maybe 3 people in the world, and he's on that list. He is one of those 3 people, and I can agree with that. I I can't necessarily say yet that I forgive him, because he keeps coming up with more ways to like lose more of my faith. Like, I honestly thought that it was as low as it could get, when he lied to me about the whole graduation thing. I get that, I've not really dealt with too many terrible people since, like up to that point, I guess. So the fact that I can keep hearing these stories about him every once in a while that just keep getting worse and worse, or they just keep compounding into just this mound of shit, it, it makes me just lose faith in the person in general. It makes me feel bad for my siblings because they have to deal with it every day. And thankfully, my oldest younger brother is the one graduating is starting to see through a lot of the bullshit. Um, One of the examples is he tried telling them that he served in the military and all that and everything, and technically he served 3 months in basic training and then 3 in specialty training or whatever, and then he went AWOL. And I guess he didn't go to like military prison or anything like that, but he did, go to prison. And that's not the story that his kids got. What they got was he went over to fight a war in Africa and Afghanistan or whatever, and that he's this like decorated war hero, but he has no proof that he's decorated. And we have plenty of proof. In fact, like military signed documents and whatnot saying that he went to, prison. So, yeah. If that doesn't tell you how much of a scumbag he is, I don't know. I like if you're gonna join the military to, put your life on the line, step in front of a bullet so I don't have to. I'm happy about it. Like, God bless, thank you for your service. But if you're going to, if you're going to go into that, dedicate to it at least, Don't just turn your back on it because it's too hard. I don't know. I've gone over my 20s, so I'm sorry for, again, rambling. But, I mean, at least this time I stayed on topic. Unfortunately, that's one of the few topics I can ramble on about for hours. I literally just got off a phone call that was about 6 hours long with my mother about basically the same thing. So I'm sorry for talking your ear off about my daddy issues. I can't promise that, tomorrow will be much better, but hey, we'll see. Till next time. Peace.